all, welcome. And I know that last weekend, not last weekend, but last Monday, we had an Easter weekend, so we rescheduled it for today. And I wanted to hear about before we begin your experience with the eclipse today. How many of you actually went outside and actually took the time to look at the eclipse? Raise your hands. Raise your hands. Okay, half of you guys. You know, this is occurring every 20 years, right? In fact, I remember 20 years ago doing this. It's really interesting. I think, Tammy, we probably have another 20 years, I would say.
Oh, for sure. Hello.
I would hope so. So we'll be able to see it at least three times in our lifetime. I wish we were in Toronto for this one because I believe in Ontario, the eclipse was right above you. I think you were at a perfect location to see the full eclipse. I wish I could have flown in just for that one. Okay, Jasmine, yeah, please go ahead, unmute yourself.
No, no, no. I just was raising my hand about the eclipse.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. No, it was actually fun. Tammy went ahead and bought these glasses, and I mean you can't see anything unless you're literally looking at the sun, and it was actually really cool. I tried to do it with my phone, and she had this filter for the phone. Unfortunately, it didn't really work well, but at least we had the opportunity to witness it, so it was really cool. So, yeah, this evening, folks, we want to talk about a very important topic. And I know you've heard this before, but we're in a different context because now it's actually quite, um, it's actually really important to kind of cover some of the grounds. Now, it is clear that, we're going through a rough patch. But the good news is there's something being done about it. Where before it was like maintenance, but now there's actual steps towards dealing with the lack of supplies. Um, I've been trying to connect with Jonathan for the past few days. I've not been able to connect, but we've been exchanging texts. And we spoke actually, no, we spoke for about 10 minutes, but then I didn't have a chance to get into the greedy, needy details that I wanted to bring tonight. But he's very excited and he feels very motivated about the future. But as you all know, as we transition, there's always a transitioning period, and transitioning is always a bit painful, and that's what we're dealing with now. Now, I know I connected with Cecilia. I believe that Mary Paul also followed up on it. And we have all the products except for Max GXL and Max One. And I know there's some delays on the delivery, but it is in Canada. In the United States, right now, we're out of the Celgivity. And I know that I believe in about a week, it's coming in, which is kind of nice now because we're not waiting 2 months. It's like a week or two, and now things are resupplying again. And I think that and I say I think because I'm not the company, um, it looks like we're catching up. And eventually, we're going to be able to have the supplies like we used to. As a matter of fact, I just added another associate this morning. Well, in fact, he was in, but he was not active for a period of time. And he just placed his order for two Celgivity in Canada. And another person in central Canada also wanted to have two Celgivities. So, and that's what we want to talk about this training tonight. I think it's a very important time to talk about this. And you guys also have to understand that we're going through the exact same pain that you guys are going through. We're not sitting here filtered from all of this. We're all going through it. But Tammy and I have made a commitment. We are committed. We're not stepping back. And that's what we want to share with you. How do we handle all of this? Because I know that there's a difference between being a consumer of the product and being an entrepreneur. And it's a balance between the two. In the same time, if there's no product, there's no business. If there's no product, we get angry customers. We get angry associates that can't really afford it, but they want the product because they need the product. But if they don't have the product, then why should I pay for it? We get all that. We understand all of this. So Tammy, do you want to just kind of share your thoughts before as I get the screen ready here?
Yeah, well, quite a few of us discussed it on Saturday. For those who wanted to be part of the campaign that we were talking about, is just getting back into action. And we discussed, product to do a campaign, not on a specific product, because we did launch our campaign for the Switch, and I know that we had some delay on the Switch. Now it's there in both markets, US and Canada, and other international markets too. But I'm just mainly focused on US and Canada in this core group. So we discussed to do a campaign around building new connections. And even though we're going through those trialing times, new people are not aware of this stuff. So I think that, just going out there and connecting with new people, building relationships, and focusing on what we do have rather than focusing our energy on what's not there. And that's why we wanted to talk about this attitude training, because it's important. And Chris is right. I mean, it's been a total emotional roller coaster, not just about business, about life in general and finances and all of this stuff. And people have to recreate themselves. And so it's normal to have that roller coaster feeling inside. But what's important is to be able to control those emotions and to shift those emotions to something that is going to serve us. Otherwise, you end up getting sick over time, right? If that's all people are focused on. And that's what we're seeing in the world today with depression, with anxiety, with all of this stuff. So, when we have the right attitude, I've been reading the book, John C. Maxwell. I had it for a long time, went back to The Winning Attitude. There's actually 3 books in one with this one, Developing the Leaders Around You, Becoming a Person of Influence, which is these are really good books. But The Winning Attitude, I went back to that because it's easy to get thrown off in a day. And it usually starts in the morning. So we want to talk about stuff like this on how to control the thoughts that are going on based on whatever's going on.
One thing that I could give you a suggestion on what I do. You look at this slide here, and I know it sounds aggressive, but don't look at it on a negative point of view, but it's more on the attitude that we have towards the adversity. I will not let it take me down. And that line, literally, this is how I feel towards the adversities that we're facing. I will not accept failure in any way, shape, or form. The good news is we have a product that people do want. The bad news is I know that it's been delays. But the fact here is we have people working. It's not like there's no communication, and I wish there would be a little bit more. I won't lie. But the fact is if we don't have any communication at a particular moment, it's because they are entrenched. They're in the middle of this scenario that they're dealing with to make sure that this supplies is always there. And Jonathan is a doer. And I'm not saying that Joe is not. He comes with other resources that are really going to bring fruit to the situation. Tammy and I absolutely adore our product. And we adore our business model. We adore Max International. But they're going through tough
all
times.
Of you.
and in fact, we adore you guys. We really, really appreciate you, and we appreciate the patience you're going through. But I know without a shred of a doubt, and I'm saying that without a shred of a doubt, that it's going to get resolved. And when it does, and I want to kind of piggyback on what Tammy said earlier, the new person will not have a clue about the past. They won't. And this is what's unfortunate. And this is what Tammy and I have seen over the years building our Max business. We've seen people coming and going, coming back and going and going and coming back and going, and some going and they're still roaming around and they have no idea where they're going. But we always stayed the course. And eventually we ended up being at the top of the food chain. And I'm telling you, we will get back there. It's normal that we're not at the moment. In fact, no one is because of the obvious situation we're facing. But the people that will stay at the top are the people that are staying the course. And it's not being stupid or being ignorant. There is a plan in course. It's like if you go back to the early days of Apple, when Apple was dealing with some situations. And I know if you read the book, Steve Jobs, it's a phenomenon. It's very thick, but it's a great read because it walks you through the entire story of the ups and down and ups and down. And when things are down and tough, this is when you really reshape yourself. I can tell you right now is what Max have learned is when they were in abundance, I can tell you that the attitude towards the funds that were coming in are going to be completely different now because of what's going on today. And the irony is it's not just Max, folks. And again, it's not to try to put anybody else down, but we're part of the advisory, not advisory, the what do you call it? The circle of Eric, and it's very quiet. I mean, everybody, folks, it's just not us. Sometimes we look at our own little ecosystem thinking that what's happening with us. It's the entire world. And it's not that it's going down, it's adjusting, it's changing. It really is. So don't give
Chris,
up.
I was listening to, I don't know if any of you got this email with Eric Worre. He's interviewing a doctor. I don't have his name. It's not Dr. Brecka that we all saw at the event, but another doctor. And they were talking about, we are in a health concern market today. Yes. So just having conversations with people, I mean, you can direct these conversations into people wanting to try the products. You can direct these conversations through questions, through being generally interested in people, but really caring about their well-being. And we all care about our everybody we talk to. We're always in conversation about that. So that's an easy thing for all of us because we know how important it is to have an abundance of glutathione in our cells to protect ourselves from everything that's going on that's attacking our cells, right? So we all know that there is a concern out there, and it's just having those conversations, really. That's what's important, is getting back out there and shifting our focus. So I love this picture that Chris put out there because it reminded me of, I have to find that recording, but a gentleman did a recording on the moment you wake up in the morning, how you set the stage will determine how your day will roll out. Always.
Mm-hmm.
And you can choose every morning on how that stage is going to look for you. And he actually talked about the doors. He talked about the door of success and the door of less. And we have a choice every day to make it a successful day or focus on the things that are not really working or don't feel like it, or, that spiral that goes down throughout the day. And because we've all been there, we're all human beings. So it's to be able to make that shift and recognize it. I think the recognition is really important. To recognize when you wake up in the morning, how are you setting the stage? Are you listening to the news? Are you waking up, just getting up, drinking your glass of, this is me, drinking your full glass of water, getting my gym gear on, getting ready to take on the world. And do I have days where I don't feel like getting up? I don't feel like going to the gym. Yes, it's called
Today was one of those days.
But Yeah, we didn't go to the gym, but we went for a long walk today. But we got up and we did our thing, right? We got up and we went out and we did our thing. I was connecting with new people today. Like today was a great day. And then we took the time to do the eclipse thing and going on a beach, just laying there for what
It was a fun
the
day.
amount of time. And then, getting back to our normal schedule. So it's really important that we pay attention to this stuff because that is going to change everything for you if you're not in a state where things are growing in the way that you want it to grow, whether it's finances, whether it's health, whatever it is, whether it's getting new connections, new business. We need to focus on what we desire rather than the challenges that are happening.
And this is what's really challenging here, folks, is to be able to focus on what we want opposed to what we are facing. And we're human beings. And if things don't work well, this is our attention. This is where we focus on. Unfortunately, more of that gets, ends up being your environment. If I may suggest for you a few books, something that I do sometimes, I'm not saying you need to do that. It's just something that I find works for me, is I buy the book. Well, me, I don't buy physical books. I buy digital books and also the audiobook. And I love to listen to the audiobook while I'm actually reading it. It's really interesting, but I tend to be more of a person that absorbs when I listen than when I read. And why? Because when I read, my mind wanders around. And then I realize, oh, I just went through 3 pages and I was wumbling around. I didn't pay attention to what I was reading. But when I'm listening to at the same time, it really sinks in. So I want to share with you some audiobooks or just get the digital book. And one of them, and I know we've mentioned that before, but The Power of One More from Ed Milet. Really, really recommend that. Another one that's really, really good is Control, Alternate, Delete. I know that sounds really funny as a title, but it's a powerful book. Really, really good one. Another one is called Nonsense. Just write these down and do if you have an Apple device or if you're using the Kindle, whatever, they're in both. Let's see here. Another one. This is something that I do recommend for you to open your eyes to the reality of today. It's crazy that this book was written 80 years ago by Napoleon Hill called Outwitting the Devil.
Yeah.
And I love the audiobook. And the reason why is because it has those sound of the person and and the devil itself. And it's really interesting how it's communicated. And you look and today you watch everything and you say, oh my God, the guy wrote this. And there's a whole story about his wife did not want him to release this book 80 years ago because she was afraid for his reputation, especially in the old days, right? But now that it's out, it's just a really good book. The other one, and I know you're aware of, is the 5 levels of leadership. Phenomenal. Another one I highly recommend is the 4 Agreements with Don Miguel. Absolutely fantastic. Another book I could recommend for you is The Leader Who Had No Title. The Leader Who Had No Title. Phenomenal book. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Absolutely fantastic. And I could go on. And the last one I will mention here, in fact, there's 2 more, is Viktor Franklin, who actually wrote the story. Phenomenal, about the Nazi war. And so that's just, again, phenomenal. And the last one is Blue Ocean Strategy. So I've given you some books and I'm going to reread these lists or re-listen to them because they are so influential and so powerful. And it really applies within our environment of today. And the fact here, folks, is despite everything else that's going on, if you can read the statement with me here as I'm reading it, the rich people in the world look for and build networks. Everyone else looks for jobs. And that's an absolute reality. So this is something to really keep in mind. And I know that Tammy and I have done some videos and we've done some posts, and we often talk about our belief in the network marketing profession and how it has completely transformed our lifestyle. This is very true today. Despite the tsunamis that we've been facing with our business, the reality is it is still a big part of our lifestyle. But the reason why we're able to weather the real the tsunamis, it's because the foundation that we've built and how we've built it. And in fact, I had conversation this morning about that with some leadership, and these are things that are important. And when things are tough, you don't want to, it's normal to feel discouraged and to whine a little bit, but just be careful to whine and with that violin and just keep going on and on and on, and it's not going to serve you well. So the problems are there, and the key is to become part of the solution opposed to become part of the problem. And that's really what the call is all about. Is we know there is challenges, but we are working towards it. And your attitude towards your response will literally define how your customer will feel. Because really what they're asking you is, I really want these products and I'm losing trust, I'm losing confidence. How do you feel about it? And if they feel that you are, you feel comfortable, I wouldn't say comfortable, you feel that we're in the right direction, and you're I don't want to sound like an hypocrite, guys, because I'm aware of what's going on. I am aware of the challenges. But the reality, and I'm also aware that if I don't stand tall and I don't share my vision for where we're going, people perish. It's just the nature of things. And Tammy and I are like these beacon of lights, in the middle of the ocean or whatever. Right. It's like we are this, when you see one of us, you can stand that we know where we're going. But yes, we're going through some tough times, but we know where we're going. If I felt remotely that the company wouldn't survive, I would stop. Now, are we doing things to subsidize? Absolutely, we are. We have no choice. Tammy and I are full-time in this business. We have some financial responsibilities we need to meet. That's why we are in business. But I truly believe in what we have and the people behind it. So that's kind of the attitude is, where's your attitude towards that belief? And if you want to have a conversation with either Tammy or I, and I know many of you are talking to Tammy, my door's open. You just need to knock and the door shall open. We'll chat. I'm not going to chase you because, obviously I'm always working, doing something, but mark my words that if you want to have a conversation, I'll be there. But that's the point that we want to deliver tonight, is our attitude has never changed towards the direction and where we're going. And I assure you that there will be a time that we will be thriving again. And I think it will be bigger than we were before, because we've learned from the tough times. And when you learn from the tough times, you create new skills that will take you to a new level. I know stage 1 is product supply. Stage 2 is the back office and all of these things. Stage 2 is very easy compared to stage 1, I believe. So this is kind of my thoughts on it. And one of the things that maybe, Tammy, I'll turn this over to you, but Max International, and we've witnessed the Max Give Back program, but that's not really what I want to talk about in this slide. Is we are in a business of service. We are servants. And sometimes, yes, you work for free. Absolutely. But over time, this turns into residual income. Mm-hmm. And this goes back to the foundation, why Tammy and I have such a strong foundation despite the difficulties we're facing. It's because we've always been serving. And we spend enormous time and resources to create trainings, an environment, an ecosystem, all of these things. And
Yeah,
because we
nobody pays us
understand,
to do
go
this
ahead,
stuff.
Tammy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all service driven, right? So, and those who are out there making that happen are the ones that are doing well, is to focus on service. And that's the best thing to do anyways, when you're looking inside and things are not well. When you focus on people and new connections and how our products can make a difference for people, all of a sudden your energy changes and you start moving towards that. So service, you guys, it's all about service. How many people do you know that need to be on these products? I mean, there's a lot of people that we don't know that need to be on these products, but how many people do we know that need to be on them? And it's about getting out there and talking to them. And they may have said no in the past, but I'm telling you, people more and more today are open to having better health. They're spending money anyways. So it's how we deliver the message and bring the value to people that they're going to be trying it, or at least wanting information about it. And we know that once we send them information and follow up properly, we can get them as customers. And of course, those who are business driven and ask the questions about how they are doing for themselves personally. There's a lot of people that need to make money, a lot of people. So that's another form of service, right? So if you're focusing on serving people, find out what they want, not just go in there wanting to share what you want to share with people. But as you get to know people, you're going to know what direction to go with them based on questions and conversation, and just really being a friendly, caring person, which all of you are. We know every single one of you. And it's just a matter of making a decision to let go a little bit. Sometimes we just got to let go of that baggage that that we hold on to over time, and just focus on service. Focus on caring about people, and things will shift for you. So
Totally agree. Lucy, I just took a picture of the book, and I upload the picture like I did right now with the eclipse right in front of the CN Tower. I thought it was so cool. I'll just put it in as we are doing our trainings here. So the next page over here is attitude of righteousness, and this is a phenomenal group. You guys are all amazing leaders. Your integrity is impeccable. But again, it's a training that covers all aspects. Integrity is doing the right thing, even when no one is looking, and this is very important. There's a lot of different markets where it's very important that we cover this as a topic, because often when people are hungry and they see an opportunity to do things that are not necessarily within integrity, it's counterproductive. And that's another thing that's very, very important in maintaining an organization when things are tough. Still, and you see an opportunity to scoop someone or to do something that is not right, don't do it. It doesn't serve. It will not serve you well. Is there anything else, Tammy, you want to add to this?
yeah, honestly, there's no shortcut to success. It's all about building relationships, building trust within. And yeah, when you break that trust, it's never a good thing. People are emotional. We're emotional beings. And I know sometimes I'm a little bit of a tough love, but in a way that I generally care. I care that everybody succeeds. I care we keep showing up, we keep serving, we keep giving people guidance. And because I get, like we were talking about on Saturday, I get that the customers, especially the ones that don't have an emotional connection to the team or any of that, they just need to have the products. I totally get it. It's all about being creative. And when you're creative, you can find ways to give them value while the transition is happening. And just so you know, that the Celjevity, it's starting to be shipped out, by the way, this week. Cecilia was telling me today. So changing the subject a little bit, but yeah, it's about just being honest, being just telling the truth, being integrity, and people appreciate that. Nobody wants to hang out with fakers, that'll do things behind your back and stuff like that. Nobody wants to hang out with that. And
Correct.
when it comes to teamwork and respect, this is absolutely critical. And, it's interesting because Chris and I, every time we ever opened up a new market, the very first training we did was attitude, because everybody wants to be first. You've got that fear of loss. If they're not in my team, now we're in competition. Like, all of these things are going through some of their minds, where Chris and I have always had a leadership mindset of we are one, because we all have direct interest in helping the company to become $1 billion in sales. Because if we do that, then everybody who's putting efforts is going to benefit from it, right? So it's kudos to the one that's sideline, that's out there hustling and making it work. Kudos to them. There's going to be a time where that person's going to pick me up when I'm not up. Like, we need each other. We need all of these lines to elevate each other. And we found that by doing that, a lot of success will happen into a marketplace, and it's not, manipulated through one. And so it's important to understand all of this, because when you're like that, people really, really like you, and they'll talk highly of you. But if you're like my team, my team, my team, my team, my team, and you won't do anything for somebody else, people also, they talk, right? So it's important just to serve. And that's always really worked for the teams.
Yeah. And these are words I'm trying to be very mindful of, is to use the my team attitude, the my team approach. It doesn't resonate well with a lot of folks, because not everybody might be in an environment where there's a lot going on. And so it's important that these people don't feel that they don't belong if they know they're not part of your team. So my team this, my team that. Get rid of these words, my team. Just the team, right? We as one. We are Max. All of these things. This is something that Tammy and I have been embedded into our culture. And not everybody thinks the same, and that's totally fine. Everybody's can do what they want. It's a free country. But the point here is, if you want success, I'm telling you, create this environment that people feel they belong. Even if they might be on a different team, they belong. They will follow you. They will respect you. They will talk highly about you, which will come back to the ears of your own leadership and your own. So this is what's really important. I appreciate what Tammy shared. That's absolutely critical. Now, I think right now this is really, really important, and more than ever, we need to lock arms when things are tough. There's this scene, and I know I reference this a lot because it's a scene that I never forgot, and it's often used in leadership examples where Planet of the Apes. I know there's a lot of different versions there. I'm talking with the one called Caesar, and at one point, Caesar was in that cage, and the gorillas and monkeys were fighting, and then he turns around and he took one branch and he gave it to that young one, and he cracked it just nice and easy. And then he turned around and he took 5 branches and he puts them together, and he could not break it, and that's the message, is together we're much stronger than individually. And this is what's really important right now, is to have this unity. That's why I was very pleased when Tammy created this call on Saturday. I know many of you could not attend, and that's totally fine. Uh, maybe you can listen to the recording,
I can
but
share a
try to
little bit at the end,
participate.
Chris, on, but yeah.
Yeah, try to participate in some way or form, because that is what unites us. And I'm telling you, things are going to come back, and I don't think we're very far from that day. And if you keep that attitude of a team to protect each other's own, because hey, listen, people are foaming at the mouth right now with different deals. Right? They're looking at you and they want to take a bite out of you. Trust me, we got calls, and very politely, because Tammy and I'd like to maintain a relationship. We told them exactly where we stand, and their words is, "I really respect that." And so people don't bother us. They know where we stand. But the moment you show a sign of weakness, they will eat you up. And that's how the industry is. And unfortunately, we've been doing this for years, and some folks are still roaming around driving Uber. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong about this, because it's a great alternative to be able to fill in the pockets when you need the money. But these are people that have skills that could have made millions of dollars in this industry, which were on their way. But they're constantly distracted by the pretty girl, the pretty guy, if she's not my meaning, and they make mistakes, and they lose credibility. And every time when you're on a 35th deal, you don't have credibility with people anymore. But the reality is that we are evolving, right? Technology is changing, and that's totally cool. But there's one thing that we do need is supplements. And today, more than ever, Tammy touched on at the beginning of the call, we're living in a very, very toxic environment. And folks, it is not going to get better. It's just going to get worse. It's not going to change, because the power that be is not interested in change. They're interested in profits, which is fine. But the thing is that we have information, and companies like ours educates people, so people can make better decision on what they choose to consume. That's why I know not only we will survive this, we will thrive this. And there's some high profile, as you heard Joe and Jonathan, with some high profile athletes that are just amazed as how come nobody knows about this. So the fact here is the time's coming. So that's the reason why this mentor and the success and the training and the work to improving each other, motivate each other, inspire each other, get some leadership. These are all important elements that are the foundation of your ecosystem into your business, which bring me to this next slide over here. You go ahead, Tammy.
Yeah. So your attitude is the key to success, and we're always going to face challenges. It is the way it is, and it's how we handle those challenges is the result that we're going to get. So sometimes, when things come my way and I just don't have the energy to deal with it, you guys know what I mean. You guys have been through times where you just can't deal with it right now. Step out, walk away, get back to the person later, when your head is right and your heart is right. And these are practices that sometimes it's not easy. One of our leaders used to tell us to bite our lip till it bleeds. And so often we think of that, before reacting to anything, because we're human beings and we get tired and we get, sometimes Chris and I, we burn the candle at both ends. We're leaders, and it's in our DNA. So we have to step back sometimes and then, kind of get it together and then deal with whatever situation's going on in the market or whatever's going on. And even with family, same thing. Sometimes you gotta bite your lip till it bleeds and sit back and instead of reacting right away is to make those adjustments and get back. So
And
it's
what's
part of life.
interesting, and I remember why and when this slide was created. And Tammy and I often, well, not often, when we do it all the time, when we do our trainings, we always sit back and we think, okay, what did we go through? And everything we talked about are living experiences where we've seen some leaders just reacting in ways that have destroyed what they've built, opposed to adjust. Where if they would have waited one day and just bite your lip, just hold on until it bleeds, and then to give yourself a chance to absorb and to think about, because sometimes you said when it's out, right? And maybe you didn't mean it, but the fact is you were angry at the time. And we've seen some teams that were completely destroyed because of it, where if they could have just sit back a little bit, process this, and then come back when you're better frame of mind to be able to handle it, I assure you that things would have been completely different. And that's why this slide is over here. The next one over here, it goes back to what you think about will always manifest in its results. Now, it's written, life at any time can be difficult. Would you agree? Life at any time could become easy. Good or bad, there are seasons on life. It all happens upon how you take on life and adjust to these seasons. So the reality is you will go through the different seasons, and each seasons are going to be moments, difficult moments, but these are the moments where you learn the most. Folks, we have learned more in the past 3 years, I'm not kidding.
Oh, yeah.
Than we've done in the past 15 years prior. Now, not that I'm saying I didn't learn anything. It was a gradual learning process. But these past 3 years, man, it's been really interesting, to say the least.
Yeah.
But the fact
Online,
is,
email marketing lists, how to build a list, like all these things, skill sets that we've picked up in just in the last year or 2 years that is under our belt now. So we can apply this in anything that we do moving forward. So when things are tough, learn some skills, you guys. That's the best thing to do. And again, it changes your mindset, and you're learning something new and you feel good about it. And it's such a positive thing rather than sit back and waiting for things to happen. And it's not happening when we want it to happen. When you're so busy learning and growing, you don't get caught up in that stuff. I'm telling
that
you,
is correct.
We don't have time for it. We don't get caught up in that stuff. But, every once in a while, there's a lot of negativity, frustrations, it'll come our way. And, reading The Winning Attitude was, it helps me to deal with some things. And yeah, so it's interesting. There's something that he was talking about in the book, and how you feel about the world is what your world is going to look like. Your inner world, your world around you. That was like profound when he said that. Like when I read that part, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's
if you
absolutely
recall,
right.
and I know I'm a big conspiracy thinker, but I don't, it's just big. I can't, for me, integrity is everything. And when I know something, I cannot unknow it. But the thing is, just be careful by constantly focusing on those things, because your life will be a real strong reflection of that. I know things are not real pretty in Canada right now. And for those of you in the United States, I mean, we're in the US, but we're not American. So we don't have that same, I focus obviously what's going on back home in Canada. And it's frustrating. It's again, bite your lip till it bleeds, because I'm telling you, but life have a way of balancing and adjusting. So the fact
Got to
is,
see the good things in life, you guys, not
correct.
always what,
So
yeah.
I talk about these books earlier, and these are other ones that you can take a little snapshot if you want, right? The 10X rule, let's say Think and Grow Rich. Hey, listen, that book, Freedom Formula, I'm telling you, man, it's a great book. I know we're self-serving. I'm telling you, that book has information from the 5 levels of leadership. It has some information from Think and Grow Rich, how to win friends and influence people. It's like a potpourri of a lot of that we applied in our lives, and we transcribed it in there. So it's a great book to get you to understand. It doesn't matter how bad things are. I'm telling you, you can completely change it. It's all in the mind.
Yeah, that's
so again,
real
these are
life in the
other books
field
for your,
building it, right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
so keep that in mind. Again, you can always replay it and move the cursor to here and can do a screenshot if you're not ready at the moment. So it's not a really
No,
long
I
call
like
here, guys.
go back to the slide there for a second, Chris, because the
Okay.
other one is learning and re-evaluating your business. I
Mhm.
do that often. I have to sit back sometimes and I have to ask myself questions. If what I'm doing right now is moving me towards my goal, moving me towards my needle. If not, I have to remove some of these things and that manage things that you're could be caught up in managing things where people can be learning skills, teaching rather than doing for others. Focus on some of the things, the money-making activities. Number two, that's where everybody should be spending a majority of their time, especially if you want your income to increase. It's got to be focused on activities, right? Focus less on management, things that you want to avoid that's not serving you to get to another level, unless you've done your work for the day, you're celebrating the fact that you had a successful day, accomplished a lot of things, and then you take a break and watch a program or whatever. But I'm talking about choosing to do that where you shouldn't be in that avoid area. Let's say TV, for example, where it's not going to get you the income that you need to grow to what you want to achieve in life, right? And so things that you need to avoid and limit, stay out of those categories. I mean, if you're retired and you got everything that you want and life is great and all of that, you don't have to put a lot of time on focus. It's totally up to it's a choice, right? Whether you want to achieve some goals. But talking to the general, people who want to grow and build their businesses. Hey, there's people in retirement that want to grow a business. So yeah. So
So my
it's all about
recommendation here,
action.
folks, is take action now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Pick a book. Use this time productively, not just sit here and just waiting for things to get better. It will get better.
Mhm.
But at the moment, you're not in control. We're not in control. But we're constantly learning, evolving. And maybe pick one of those books. Pick one.
Mhm.
Pick one. And if you're not a reader, get the audio version and just kind of go through a few chapters, right? Or go through a few pages and then go to bed or get into a habit in the morning or in the evening. We're going back to that again, waking up in the morning and taking, even it's just 15 minutes, even half an hour, even 10 minutes, even 5 minutes, just the action of starting so you can evolve. And another thing that's important too, that Tammy and I have adjusted quite a bit, is it's wonderful to make good money, but it's even better to keep that money and to have that money working for you.
Mhm.
Educate yourself on those things. It's no surprise, Tammy, and I have been in crypto for 4 years now, and I'm getting passive income with that. You wouldn't believe how much you could make monthly with 20 grand in crypto if you're not afraid of it and you understand how this works. Because if you don't, they will beat you to the ground until you have no blood. They will suck you dry. But you need to understand how the system works. And when you do, you become your own bank. Again, it's just an example that's beside the point, but it's not really beside the point, is we're adjusting. We're creating an environment that we're not constantly slaving and dependent on that new resource coming in every month, but we're using that resource and multiplying it in ways that are satisfying our lifestyle. So if that piques your curiosity, the guy no, let me rephrase that. The company that I've learned this from, they've reduced their price significantly. It's not like it used to be. Now it's monthly, and I have learned a lot. And I recommend to educate yourself about this. There's 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds that are in there learning and actually having wonderful results. Some of them, they don't care so much about the money. They are, but it's more about having something to do and something, whatever, to keep the mind going. So it's you need to evolve. If it is increasing your leadership, increasing your communication, how to make friends and influence people, you're looking for leads, read this book. It will give you some insight to be able to share to people so people can gravitate towards you instead of running the other way. So don't wait, once this thing is over and then whenever I have time. You're never going to have time. You have to make the decision. So we highly recommend to make this time productive.
Yeah, and I recommend to whatever you're going to read what's going to move the needle for you, for your business, to help you grow your business. If you want to read something that's, totally out of the context of business, do it on your non-productive time, replacing maybe a TV program and sit and reading something comfortable, relaxing. But I'm talking about things that are going to help you grow your business. It's good to wake up in the morning and read a couple chapters on winning attitude, on developing the leader within, how to influence, how to make an influence in the market. How do I, connect with people? Like all these things that you want to develop that you feel that can move the needle for you in growth. Because everybody's different here. Everybody's got a different blueprint. Everybody's got different skill sets, mindsets. So pick something and start reading, and that's going to change the focus off of what's going on to improving things in your life. And of course, attitude of gratitude is always the big thing. A grateful heart is always a magnet to miracles. And the more grateful you are with the people in your life, with, the great products that we have, whatever we've never been out of products, you guys. That's the thing is, everybody, we're out of products. We've never been out of products. Maybe in some other markets, but I'm talking Canada, US. We've always had products. Just maybe not the one that you want and you're attached to. And we get it. We're attached to it too. But there's always an alternative. There's always an opportunity to be creative. And that's where I choose to be creative in different scenarios. And when it comes to ribosine is in Max 1, in Cellgevity, in Switch, in ATP. So we've never been out of all of those at the same time. There's always been something that's had ribosine in it. So yeah, it's just to adjust. So talking about that on for those who want to participate in the campaign, it's for your personal growth is what it is. And the accountability is the people who are also going to do it. At the end of the day, if I decide, like we decided to make it for the month of April, and then we'll do whatever for the month of May. We may continue the same thing to create some momentum because we didn't start right at April 1st. But at the end of the session, we came up with, okay, well, let's do activity-driven new connections. And there's a level 1, and that's to make a connection with one new person every day. That's easy. Make a connection. Whether you're out in a coffee shop, whether you're, make a connection. And it could be a referral. It could be a social media connection. I do a lot of social media stuff. So I make connections all the time. Plus, I go into my phone and I reconnect with people that I haven't talked to in a long time. So that's another thing. So you can do level 1 with one new connection every day, which is an easy one. You can do a level 2, step it up and do 2 new connections every single day, or level 3 with 3 new connections every day. If you want to do more, do more. Often you're going to have days where you'll get 4 or 5, but then the next day something came up, an emergency came up, and you weren't able to talk to anybody. So it all balances out, right? So yeah, so that's what we're
So
doing with campaign. And remember, it's your challenge. Because at the end of the day, if you don't do it, it doesn't affect anybody. But we'd like to create some momentum together to help you guys get to another level. So putting these challenges out there is what is going to move the needle for you, for sure.
and by the way, that slide was actually the ChatGPT 4.0. I just basically typed in, can you create an image with a grateful heart, a magnet to miracles, and poof, it came up with that. So that was designed by an AI. And it's there's so many things, guys. I mean, entire PowerPoints now are created with this. The only thing sometimes it's a little it could be a little robotic or a little whatever, but like Tammy calls it my sci-fi stuff.
Oh, I like my
But
water with the rocks. Yeah.
yeah,
That's more my style. But
yeah.
everybody's got
And
their
you'll
own
find
style,
that a
right?
lot of the posts that I'm doing, you probably noticed recently, I've posted them, like the one where there's a person standing on top of the hill and there's a whole bunch of folks that are following in line towards a mountain, and it's just this incredible majestic view. That was created also by an AI. But what I do is I do a lot of staging on what I want the AI to do with whatever it is that I want, because every one of you could ask the AI to do something and you each will have a different response based on how you worded yourself and how you express what you're looking for from the AI. So that kind of brings an end to our session here, folks. And commit to transform, folks. This is our hub. This is what where Tammy and I are focusing on. And on the fourth one, you'll notice that the crypto is there. If you're interested, watch the video of Swami, the guy that actually owns this company, and he is extremely knowledgeable. He is right now. He lives in Panama, and he's completely off the grid, and he's living a really good life due to what's going on. He was hit with cancer. I mean, he's anyway. The point is that it's a great guy. He knows his stuff really well, and he's created a great team around him. And I'm learning a lot from it. And the difference is that you become your own bank instead of getting a tiny little dust percentage of based on the money you lend. You basically get 90% of it, and the rest is divided among the people that are actually doing transactions through the crypto blockchains and so forth. So I'll stop here with that.
Yeah.
But
People should never.
it's worth it to educate yourself, because it
Yeah.
is in our future. It is not a distant future at all. This is happening now. And you probably have seen a little bit. Again, I'm just giving you a few tips here. What's been going on with Bitcoin? They're probably halfway to where they're going to go. And I'm not saying for you to invest in any way, shape, or form, because this could turn around and bite you in the ass, excuse me the expression. But that is one of the reasons. It's like BlackRock and a lot of these big companies are shifting their investment towards what's going on. The next one is going to be Ethereum. After that, it's either going to be Binance, Polygon, or XRP. And it's not going to stop. And all I'm saying is just educate yourself so you can be in a better position to respond. For example, Tammy right now, every month she puts $500 towards buying some tokens, and she's more than double her money, right? Just by buying some tokens. And so again, this is not
None of this
financial
is
advice at all. We're
blindfolded, you
telling you what
guys.
we're doing. And the
Yeah.
reason I'm sharing this is I feel obligated to let you know that there is ways out there, because I know some of you are looking for money. You're looking for a better way. Well, the money you earn with Max and whatever it is that you're doing, you filter it there. And then if enough of you are doing this, we can create a little team together on how we work and where we invest and what we do and everything else. So just that's beside the point. But this is what this call is all about. It's to learn and evolve together. This is what I'm saying, where the past 3 years, what's going on 4 now, I have learned more than I would say 80% of my life. It's crazy how much I've learned. But network marketing it's what has fed all of it. That's where it all comes from. But once you get it, if you spend it, it's gone. But if you use that money and cultivate it, then you can grow. And I know that Alice knows all about this because she was a financial advisor. So, yeah. So at this point, I guess we'll end the call on this note. And I hope the information we shared with you was helpful, if not at least informative. And if there's anything that you want to talk about, now remember, pretty much everything you know, we know. We don't have any inside scoop with the company, and whatever we know, we provide it openly. So we don't hide anything. We're completely transparent. And the moment I get insights, right away, we're going to put it into our Facebook Messenger group. You're going to know about it, and use information responsibly, so you can inspire opposed to discourage your team members. Last words, Tammy, as we end?
I just want to talk about, anything that you do to put money towards, educate yourself. Yeah, you want to be careful. The one thing that guy talks about is stay away from network marketing crypto. He said, stay away from that.
I agree.
See, Chris, I remember Chris when you talked about crypto, because I remember, with Eric Worre, he's always introducing us to new concepts and, ways to increase our financial status and everything. And this guy, I remember Chris wanting to take a course, and I said, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to take a course, because if you just do it blindfold, and I know so many people who have done it, and I feel so bad for them, but somebody told them to do something because they heard this is going to be this, and bang, their even their future investments, like, it's unbelievable the money that people put out out of ignorance. And so it's important to educate yourself. If you're going to do stuff like that, don't do anything blindfolded.
That is very important. If you don't know what you're buying, do not buy it. Do not get involved. And underline, network marketing, crypto, no.
No.
The network marketing is a very emotional people business, and crypto is extremely volatile. Bad combination.
Yeah, because what happened is I was talking to a lady today, and we were talking about health. We were talking about other things, and she had joined a networking crypto company, and the owners, they can just take it and leave. You know that. They can just make a ton and just disappear.
So let's carry on, my love.
So we have to be careful with that.
Yeah. So anyway, I hope that this session was great, guys. Thank you so much for attending. And again, if we went a little bit off script, it's simply because we do care. We want to share with you what we know. And if you feel that it's something that you want to learn, but you can choose to read it, look into it, and educate yourself about it. There's no boundaries with this, but you need to make money first. And that's why we want to help you stay the course to prepare when Max starts going mainstream again. We want you to be on the receiving side. So have a great evening, folks, and thank you so much for your time, and always appreciate you guys. Bye for now.